There's a demon living inside you, not the cartoonish red creature with horns, something worse, something human, something familiar. It's the anger you feed, the rage that simmers in your gut when someone disrespects you, the burning in your chest when things don't go your way. It's the part of you that explodes, ruins relationships, makes you weak, and you keep feeding it. But what if I told you there was a way to kill it, to bury it, to walk through fire, with calm eyes while everyone else is screaming? Miyamoto Musashi, arguably the most dangerous man to ever walk. Japan did exactly that. He fought over 60 life-or-death duels and never lost. Not because he was the fastest, not because he was the strongest, because he was emotionless in battle. This is how one warrior killed anger and became a legend, and now you'll learn his way. The question isn't whether you get angry. The question is, will you control it or will it control you? Chapter 1. The Awakening. The Warrior Consumed by Rage. Edo, Japan, 1645. Ryo knelt in the dojo, fists clenched, jaw tight, entire body trembling. He just lost again. Third time this week in, sparring. And each time the same problem destroyed him, anger. When his opponent landed the first strike, Ryo saw red. His technique disappeared. His strategy vanished. He just swung wildly, trying to hurt, trying to punish, trying to make them pay for daring to hit him. And every time he lost. 22 years old, trained since he was 8, technically skilled, physically capable, but completely dominated by the demon inside, him. Ryo's master, fThe sensei, stood over him, silent, watching with those eyes that saw everything. Stand up, Ryo stood, still shaking with rage. You just lost to someone half your skill level. Why? He got lucky. Lie. Try. Again. Ryo's fists clenched tighter. His jaw ached from grinding his teeth. He caught me off guard. Another lie. The truth, Ryo. Or leave my dojo. Something in fThe sensei's voice cut through the rage fog. Ryo took a breath. Forced. Honesty. I got angry, yes. And anger made you what? Weak. Correct. Anger is not strength, Ryo. It's a chain, a leash, a predictable reflex that makes men easy to kill. fThe sensei walked to the wall, pointed at kanji written there. Budongshin Fudoshin, the immovable mind. This is what you lack. This is what the greatest warriors mastered. And until you master it, you will keep losing. Not just jewels, everything. Ryo had heard about Fudoshin before. The concept that samurai should remain calm regardless of circumstances, unmoved by provocation, unshaken by chaos. But he'd never understood how. How do you just stop being angry when someone disrespects you, when they attack you, when they push every button you have? I don't know how to not get angry, Ryo admitted, the words tasting like defeat. fThe sensei smiled slightly. The first time Ryo had seen that expression in months. Good. Admitting you don't know is the beginning. Come, I'll show you what killed anger in the greatest warrior who ever lived. Chapter 2. The Principle. Anger is a puppet string. fThe sensei led Ryo to a small meditation room. They sat facing each other. Let me tell you about Miyamoto Musashi. The master began. You've heard the stories. 60 jewels never lost. People think he won because he was faster, stronger, more skilled. Wrong. He won because he was emotionless in battle. While his opponents raged, panicked, or froze with fear, Musashi remained calm, cold, calculating like death itself. Ryo leaned forward. How did he do it? By understanding what anger really is. Marcus Aurelius, a warrior emperor far from Japan, said something Musashi would have agreed with. When you are disturbed by external things, it is not they that trouble you, but your own judgment of them. Read that again in your mind. fThe sensei said, giving Ryo time to absorb it. If someone can make you angry, they can make you do anything. You're not in control. You're a puppet, and your strings are your emotions. Ryo felt that truth land like a punch. Every time someone insulted him, every time something didn't go his way, he reacted predictably. They controlled him completely. Musashi cut those strings. Taeda-sensei continued. He trained himself to become immune to provocation. No matter what insult came his way, no matter how brutal the fight, he stayed still, watching, calculating. But how? How do you just not feel anger? You don't stop feeling it. You stop being controlled by it. There's a difference. Taeda-sensei stood paced. Slowly. Real strength isn't how hard you hit. It's how impossible you are to provoke. A man with no emotional triggers is a man you can't manipulate, threaten, or break. That is real power. He stopped, looked at Ryo with unusual intensity, as if seeing not just him, but beyond him through time itself. You know, Ryo, this path you're about to walk, learning to kill anger, to master the immovable mind, it's not just yours. Throughout history, warriors have faced this demon, the rage that destroys from within. Taeda-sensei's voice took on a quality that made Ryo feel the words were meant for more than just this room. In times you cannot imagine, in places far from this dojo, men will face the same battle you face now. The demon of anger consuming them, making them weak when they need to be strong. And they'll discover what you're discovering. That killing anger is the first step to becoming truly dangerous. Not dangerous because you're violent. Dangerous because you're unshakable. He placed his hand on Ryo's shoulder. If you feel called to this discipline, if you recognize this demon inside you, know that you walk this path with warriors. Across all time. We teach this at Presence and Purpose, the ancient practices, the warrior psychology, the path to becoming immovable. Taeda-sensei's gaze seemed to pierce through Ryo to something beyond. Subscribe to this training. Walk with those who've chosen to kill the demon. Because this isn't just ancient history locked away. This is living practice. The dojo of the immovable mind is always open, and the warriors who train there become unstoppable. He smiled slightly, not through violence, through unshakable calm. Ryo bowed, not fully understanding why the master's words felt like they were reaching beyond this moment, beyond this conversation. But he felt something shift, a commitment not just to his own training but to joining something larger. T-sensei returned to his normal tone. Good. Now let's begin killing your demon. Chapter 3. The Test, Training the Void. The first thing you need to understand, Taeda-sensei said, is why you get angry. Be honest. Why? Ryo thought about it. When someone disrespects me, why does that make you angry? Because I deserve respect. There it is. Entitlement. You think the world owes you something. You think people should behave the way you want. You think life should be fair. Taeda-sensei's voice was sharp. Musashi would say, you are attached, and attachment is the root of suffering. He trained himself to expect nothing from the world. He walked alone, slept in dirt, trained not just his body but his soul to be untouchable. No comfort, no luxury, no illusion of control. And, because of that, no one could anger him. Over the next weeks, Tao-sensei put Ryo through what he called training the void, the practice of becoming empty enough that nothing could disturb you. Week 1, voluntary hardship. You will sleep outside for 7 nights. No, blanket despite the cold. Eat only rice. Train twice as long as usual. Voluntarily choose discomfort. Ryo struggled intensely. Every night, his body screamed for the warm futon inside. His mind created 1,000 justifications for quitting. But on the 3rd night, something shifted. He realized most of his anger was just entitlement in disguise. He got angry when things weren't comfortable, easy, the way he wanted them. By choosing discomfort voluntarily, he was killing that entitlement at the root. Week 2, no reaction training. Taeda-sensei brought in other students to provoke Rio deliberately. Insults, mockery, disrespect. Your job, the master said, is to not react, not to defend yourself, not to explain. Just watch them, observe, stay silent. The first day Rio lasted maybe 10 seconds before snapping back at an insult, but slowly over days of practice, he learned something profound. When you don't react, the power shifts instantly. The person trying to provoke you loses their leverage. They're expecting anger, defensiveness, engagement. When you give them silence, they don't know what to do. By day 7, Rio could stand completely still while students insulted his honor, his skill, his family, and he felt nothing. Not because he didn't hear the words, but because he chose not to be moved by them. Week 3, Death. Meditation. Every morning, Taira-sensei instructed, you will meditate on your